There are extreme sports and there are extreme races, and this event combines the two. It's a sort of relay that's custom tailored to Austria's Dolomite mountains and the incredible athletes willing to compete there. You've probably heard of the Ironman. This is the Dolomitenmann. It was just held for the 37th time. The race involved dozens of teams, each with 4 people. One runs almost 7.5 miles over rugged mountain terrain. One paraglides down from a height of around 8,000 feet. One completes an almost 12-mile mountain bike course, and one paddles 5 miles in a kayak. The men's winning team did all this in just over 4 hours and 12 minutes. The women's winning team finished in 5 hours and 16 minutes. All of them would agree that this is a standout among world competitions, and one of the athletes says it's nice to work across different disciplines on the quest to make a dream come true. This is the world from A to Z. We're happy to see you this Tuesday. We hope your day has been great or that it gets there very soon. My name is Carl Azuz. Next today, trouble in Venezuela. The South American nation held an election in late July, and there have been weeks of protests, some of them violent ever since. Officially, the nation's incumbent president, Nicolás Maduro, was declared the winner. But his government didn't publish many of the vote counts. It says it can't because its system had a cyber attack. Election observers say they haven't seen proof of that, and the party that ran against Maduro says it got hold of most of the vote tallies and that they show Maduro lost the election by a landslide to opposition candidate Edmundo González Urrutia. The United States, which is a rival of Venezuela, backed González up, saying the evidence shows he should be president instead of Maduro. Venezuelan authorities accused González of lying about the election results and ordered him to appear in court, and he fled the country for Spain, saying his life was in danger. So what happens now? Well, President Maduro is still in power. The CIA World Factbook says he's held authoritarian control over Venezuela for years, putting strong limits on speech and the media. His government says Western countries are biased against him, and he's stayed in power despite election controversies and a dramatic collapse in the Venezuelan economy, which he's increased control over. So even if González actually won the vote and protests continue, it's possible Maduro will continue to cling to power. Is it constitutional? There are no references to presidential debates in the U.S. Constitution. True or false? Totally true. The word debate only appears once in the whole document, and it protects lawmakers from being arrested while attending a debate in Congress. But they have been a U.S. political tradition since Stephen Douglas and Abraham Lincoln held a series of face-to-face meetings back in 1858. And they were doozies. There were 7 public meetings between these two candidates, each debate lasting 3 hours, and the fields around them were packed. Flash forward to this year, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, the Democratic nominee, and former U.S. President Donald Trump, the Republican nominee, are set to debate tonight in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It'll be hosted and moderated by ABC News starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's scheduled to last 90 minutes, and we plan to bring you some highlights on Thursday's show. Tomorrow, the anniversary of the September 11th attacks will be front and center in our coverage.
Word of knowledge. American inventor Elias Howe was best known for creating what device? Mechanical clock, sewing machine, artillery cannon, electrical plug. In 1846, Elias Howe was granted a patent on his invention of a lock-stitch sewing machine.
On this date in world history. Elias Howe's invention wasn't the first sewing machine, but it was distinctive because of its lock-stitch design. And while his patent didn't bring him immediate financial success after it was granted on September 10, 1846, it made Howe a millionaire years later when he proved that other companies had infringed on his patent. An Ethiopian marathoner named Abibi Bikila did something amazing on this date in 1960. He became the first person from his country to win an Olympic gold medal. But how he did that made it more remarkable. Bikila was barefoot when he ran through Rome's cobblestone streets, and he set a world record time which he broke 4 years later at the 1964 Games, that time wearing shoes. Finally, Switzerland became part of the United Nations on this date in 2002. The country had previously resisted membership in part because of its status as a neutral nation. But after a referendum that made Switzerland the only country to join after a popular vote, it was admitted as the UN's 190th member on September 10th. 3 states we haven't visited yet this season are all in the U.S. Northeast, starting in New Jersey, where Mr. O'Neill's class is watching. The Ospreys are perched at Upper Township Middle School. It's in the community of Petersburg. Next to New York, Stissing Mountain High School is home of the Bombers in Pine Plains. Big hello to Mrs. Selleck's class there. And from the town of Brattleboro, Vermont, we welcome Mr. Minikilo's students. I hope I got close on your name. Brattleboro Area Middle School is awesome like Fridays.
Where in the world? This place has been called the incubator of Western civilization. It's a body of water that touches 22 countries. It's surrounded by Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. This is the Mediterranean Sea, both an important trade route and an immensely popular vacation destination.
The Mediterranean Sea evokes dreams of luxurious vacations and total relaxation. But your perfect holiday comes at a price. This seemingly idyllic sea is 87% polluted, according to a new study by the Worldwide Fund for Nature.
I still see that young people without any problems throw plastic bottles into the sea, throw rubbish on the ground, leave the rubbish, abandon it everywhere, cigarettes, garbage.
Under and often above the surface is a deadly cocktail of toxic metals, industrial chemicals, and plastic waste. This enormous body of water, which stretches from the Atlantic Ocean to Asia and from Europe to Africa, has the highest concentration of microplastics ever recorded. About 1.9 million fragments per square meter, experts say.
The Mediterranean Sea is incredibly popular for beachgoers who come here to enjoy these crystal clear turquoise waters, but they're not exactly clean. Every single day, 730 tons of plastic waste are polluting these seas.
150 million people live on the shores of the heavily polluted Mediterranean, and a further 270 million tourists visit each year. In 2019, water pollution was connected to about 1.4 million premature deaths globally each year, according to The Lancet, underscoring the risks involved with exposure to polluted water. The fishing industry is also at risk, since microplastics and the toxic contaminants that attach to them are starting to show worrying health consequences for those who catch fish and those who consume it. Plastic is a forever pollutant, according to climate crisis experts, meaning once it becomes invasive, it's here to stay. For now, holidaymakers who enjoy this peaceful paradise hope others will do their part to stop spreading the scourge.
We're not coming out of the water just yet, cuz surf's up, dog! Sunday saw the 19th annual Dog Surfathon in San Diego, California. As if it's not enough that they're surfing, some are doing it backwards, some are in costume. One competitor, a man named Kentucky who has a dog named Derby, I did not make that up, says it's all about spending time with your best friend and putting smiles on people's faces.
I don't look at it as for me, it's for this guy right here because he's the one that brings everybody here. If it was just me out there, no one would be here.
Forget hanging 10, they're all hanging K9. A bunch of swarthy sea dogs are looking for the perfect line. When a Newfoundland's at sea, when there's a true border collie, when a Portuguese water dog barks up a Bathim tree, you use a different kind of leash as Chinese crested waves line up and water spaniels barrel toward the doggy door as surfs pup. I'm Carl Azuz, catching waves of puns on the world from A to Z. Thanks so much for taking the plunge with us. You mean the world to me.